Top 5 Best Moments in Game of Thrones. Before we start, I want you to hit that red subscriber button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. In 1991, when George R.R. Martin sat down to write his book, A Game of Thrones, he had one mission in mind: create a fantasy too marvelous to capture on screen. Truly, he was successful in doing so, until the recent developments in film and animation, and more experimental, risk-taking approach towards TV dramas. All we can say is, the wait is worth it, as it gave us what is easily the best drama of all time. Today, we will be looking at the top 5 biggest moments that we came across in the series' 8 seasons. Number 5. Purple Wedding. Saying that the episode The Lion and the Rose merely lived up to its hype would be an understatement. It pretty much destroyed the meaning of hype. Despite knowing George R.R. Martin's tradition of ending weddings with horrible deaths, the result was still shocking to say the least. It's worth mentioning here that Martin wrote this particular episode himself. After years of watching Joffrey torture others, he was finally killed off, the person hated by everyone, and became victim of probably the show's most triumphant death. Instead of becoming a martyr or dying in battle as a warrior, Joffrey looked ridiculous in his final moments in front of all of the hundreds of guests who were attending his wedding. He took his last breaths, gasping in pain, eyes bulging out and his face turning purple, looking straight at Tyrion. Joffrey dies thinking his uncle is the one to be blamed for his death, is the best kind of revenge Tyrion could have asked for. But alas, they had to spoil the occasion by getting Tyrion's arrested on the spot. Couldn't just let the viewers enjoy the scene now, could they? Number 4. Battle of the Bastards. If there is one thing Game of Thrones does big, it's its fights and clashes between the rival armies, and the Battle of the Bastards is surely the best of the lot. There were many thrilling and horrifying scenes throughout the entire ordeal. This merciless battle certainly outdid others for all the destruction, mayhem, and gruesome bloodshed it caused. Watching Jon Snow nearly submerged in a sea of dead bodies, we witness his transformation from the inexperienced boy we knew to a resurrected warlord, fighting to reclaim what is rightfully his ancestral home. But that's how it is in Westeros. You've got to grow up fast to survive, and even then, there's no guarantee you'll make it. The real credit, though, goes to Sansa here, who steals the show. She saves the day through diplomacy and her strategy, forming allies with Littlefinger. When Ramsay's men surround Jon and all seems lost, Sansa and Littlefinger's men come through and defeat Ramsay's army. Number 3. Jon Snow's resurrection. The murder of Jon Snow, Night's Watchlord Commander, by his own men marked the end of both the 5th season of Game of Thrones and George R.R. Martin's novel, A Dance with Dragons. It's one of the greatest cliffhangers in the history of TV. Another Stark family death that no one saw coming. Based on the show's history, there was no reason to believe that a Stark would make a comeback, except the Red Woman. It was one of the most talked about moments of the series, as watchers disagreed over whether the Bastard of Winterfell had actually died or not. However, there were lots of signs that pointed toward Lord Snow's return. Also, Melisandre's presence gave viewers hope that Jon might have a chance at life again. After some mystical magic, thanks to the resident court sorceress, Jon was resurrected. But of course, fans had to wait until season 6 to find all of this out. Number 2. The Death of Ned Stark. This is for sure one of the most important pop culture moments of the last decade. Game of Thrones made it quite obvious from the beginning that it was some sort of show that wouldn't shy away from killing off of its main couple characters every now and then. But when it came to Ned Stark's execution, people weren't ready for it. The beheading of the lead character was done in such an embarrassing and humiliating manner that it temporarily caused some of the viewers to stop watching the series. They obviously came back. In the novel, Ned is one of the few people whose point of view that the reader gets to see. Generally, such characters aren't killed off, at least not right at the beginning. The plot, however, works because it shows the most noble guy in Westeros, taking the blame on his own name, all to save his family. Number 1. The Red Wedding. The Red Wedding was an even bloodier sequel to Ned Stark's death. It has further confirmed the fact that the series would not be following the conventional route where the heroes suffer but justice is served in the end. In a wedding held at the Twins, Roose Bolton, along with Tywin Lannister and Walder Frey, conspiring against Robb Stark, murder him, his wife and unborn child. Before her throat is slit, Catelyn Stark cries and begs for mercy, but instead of her frightening screams are silenced forever. The Red Wedding shook us all to the core, everyone who watched it, who suffered through it. It drew the final line in the sand between the Starks and the Lannisters. From that point forward, the series became a battle between good and evil. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 new videos that are on your screen, because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.